Hello, everyone. How's it going? Long time no see. How is day two of Global Hack Week going on with you all? Hello. Hi. Okay, perfect. Let me remove the banner. Okay, so welcome back, everyone, to part three of the open source color palette generator that we are building. For anyone who is joining me for the very first time, we already had a website called as Color Conjure, which is on your screen, and we want to, or at least I wanted to, uh, make a change to this so that it looks somewhat like this one that I have here. Uh, so from this, which is existing live, you can try it out. Let me share the link in the chat. So from this, we want to go to something like this that I have on screen. This design I made on Figma. Uh, yes, it's all right. Not too great, not too bad, I would say at this point. Uh, yeah, that's it. And what else? I think this is yeah, good enough introduction. Now, just a very quick announcement slash reminder: if you have not registered, please do register for the event. The link is in the chat. I can share it again as required. Let me do that. Again, I am going to continuously stream for 4 hours. So I will be like, this is part three. And then towards the end, we'll take a quick break, a short break, and then we will come back. And once when we are back, we are going to sorry, let me I started Firefox by mistake. When we are back, we'll continue building this. Uh, Between my third session, fourth session, there's technically no time in between, but I will still give you 10-15 minutes of break where you can just just get up, walk around, have some water, eat something, and then listen me for again next 2 hours. Okay, for those who are joining for the very first time, the code base, you can find it right here. Quick intro about myself: my name is Utkarsh, but I prefer to go by UT. I am a coach at Major League Hacking and I love to stream, so you would find streams from me in nearly every Global Hack Weeks. uh, Anything else that comes to my mind? Nothing, actually. I guess this is it. Now, before we get started, any questions, anyone? Anything anyone would like to ask, confirm, check, anything? What if I am joining for the first time? So if you're joining for the first time, you can actually find part one and part two of these sessions on YouTube. So you could kind of check that out. Let me share the link of the Major League Hacking YouTube channel with you all. There you go. So you can find all the previous streams by me and everyone else who streams in Global Hack Week on the YouTube channel. So you could technically start from there. Today's session will build on the previous session. So unfortunately, it may be an issue if you're not aware of what happened in the previous sessions, though I will give you a very quick overview. And actually, the best way I feel would be if I can just run this project. So I am going to go over to the terminal. I am going to switch over to node 20 because that is the minimum requirement. And I'm going to do npm run dev to start my Vite development server. Okay, there you go. So this is what we had built yesterday in the first two streams, which may not look much, but I think it was good enough progress for us to understand, like, because we were doing kind of live coding, and I will continue to do that today as well. So on live coding, and hopefully we will be able to fix everything that is wrong with our current code versus the design. Okay, the design may change a bit as we go along, depending on the space considerations and stuff. So, yeah, this is not the final design that I have. There may be updates as and when we start building. Okay, so that is just a quick heads up for everyone here. Uh, I hope that answers your question. Any other questions that you have, or anyone else does? Okay, I'm going to take the silence as golden and let us dive into our code. So, let me also, if you are again joining for the very first time, I can suggest you one thing. You can check out the code base, and when you go there, you can fork this repository. So if you fork it, it will go on your username. Once it goes on your username, then you can clone that, and then you can do npm install uh, or run bootstrap dev, which is a custom command that exists in the scripts. And then you can do npm run dev to start the application. You can find all the steps in the readme of this project. So that should be like quick to understand. I've tried to keep it simple and yet comprehensive. uh, Most of these things are going to change about the usage and stuff, because, well, we have made changes in the code base and not everything is implemented. So for your usage, you can continue watching the video. Another thing that I would suggest would be, not suggest, request would be, like, you need to be aware of JavaScript. So I am working on this one, on this project, uh, with a prerequisite of you should know a bit about JavaScript and be comfortable with React, because that is what we are using in this code base. Also TypeScript, that would be helpful slash nice, but you don't have to know everything about it. As and when we go along, I will try to uh, help you understand bits and pieces as and when needed. Okay. Another request was to zoom in the screen a bit. I have done that. So hopefully that takes care of the issue. Uh, and let me also arrange my screen properly so that it is easy for me to navigate between screens. Okay, cool. I guess there are nothing else. So let's begin. Uh, what should I? Okay, I have the local development server up and running. Let me, just for the sake of it, run bootstrap dev. So today we will fix most of the issues in the UI we have, like, at least try and complete some stuff. Uh, where is it? Yep, there we go. So at least try and complete uh, this card on the left. Also, I noticed yesterday at the end of the session that this flex box and grid layout that we have does not scale well. uh, I want there needs to be this line which should be from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, and that is not there. Secondly, this keeps moving as this keeps increasing. So the first column, when it keeps increasing, the last column keeps moving a bit. So yeah, we need to fix that as well. So these are a couple of issues that need fixing. And finally, we used a button here, which was nice to see, but it does not really practically work, right? So we need to build a few more pages. So that when user clicks on these they can go to a placeholder page, if that makes sense. And also these need to be clickable so that you click on it and navigate somewhere. So we'll need to set up routes as well. We'll need to change this to, I think the best would be navlink from React Router, uh, that we can use. uh, what else? I think the grid and flexbox there, that needs bit of change here and there, so we'll do that as well. And I guess that's it. Okay, so what should I tackle first? I am going to tackle a few things first, and I think I'll start by deleting certain things, okay? So that our code base is nice and clean and works. So let's start by deleting certain stuff. Also, is the Stark mode fine with everyone? And is it visible properly? I see that in my face there's no light, so hopefully I'm not, you can see me when I make gestures. If not, let me know and I'll change this to light mode, and then definitely it'll work out fine. Uh, okay, let's start with. Okay, so a few things that I was like reading into the Tailwind CSS documentation, and also yesterday we had some type issues with Chroma. So I was reading into the documentation of both of them, and I realized my two mistakes. This is what happens when you do live coding. Uh, so the first mistake that I have is that Tailwind CSS slash Post CSS, this is no longer required, so we could safely remove this. And where did I get it from? So if I go over to tailwindcss.com and go over the documentation and using Vite, so it says that install Tailwind CSS and this Tailwind CSS slash Vite library. So right now I only got one of it. I don't have both of it. So I should uh, use the Tailwind CSS slash Vite library. And the latest version seems to be 4.1.6, which is nice. So I will add that. We will also not need this post css config.js because I have removed post css right now. So this goes away. And for the types of chroma, I realized the difference. So previously you could take out there was a tree shaking, and you could technically take out only the functions that you need slash want. Right now I have to import the whole chroma library, and then I can do chroma dot something uh, to sorry, give me 1 second. Oh, sorry. Okay, so not a message for me. I was like reading into the Discord messages to see if someone has left a question because I got a notification, but no, that was a false alarm. Anyways, going back, also let me remove my pause my notifications so that there is no notification. Okay, cool. uh yeah, I was talking about the chroma js. So previously you could kind of pick and choose what you wanted. So if I go over to one of the inputs, yeah, so I could take out the valid from chroma js, but now that is no longer possible. So I have to import chroma completely, and mm, and then I can do chroma dot something. So that is what the new types suggest. So I will change this to 3.1.1, which is the latest, and we'll use it from there. Other changes, hmm, I think this should be it. These are the two changes that I realized. We will add a new library in a bit, which is called as Zustent. So Zustent is a state management library that we will use. But for the time being, I think these two are fine to start with. So let me do bootstrap dev, which will also install the packages. It will remove the previous packages and install the packages, and yeah, we should be good to go. Okay, so as you can see, it currently gives errors, TypeScript errors slash warnings about, oh, this is not exported. How are you planning to use it? So currently, the three things that are exported from Chroma library are type. There is a type color, there is a type cube helix, and there is a type scale. If I go over to the library implementation, you can see there is this particular type, then like all the colors, then browse the palette name, and then there are these other types, interfaces, uh, valid, which is in the chroma namespace. So if I have to use something from chroma, example, let's say this scale, instead of scale I will now do chroma dot scale. Okay, and that's it. So that should technically solve the issue. But as I said, we will not need a bunch of these things. So let me delete some of them. Uh, Files that I want to delete. Let's start from app. App has a 3 column layout and there is a pages not found, which is okay. All the files where I have these chroma errors, I think I will want them gone. So color input can be gone. So I'll delete this whole thing. I'll delete color section. I'll delete color contrast checker. Also deleting export colors, deleting shared constants is fine, but now I don't really want to use the total shades. Okay, why? Because we will have our own, like it will be more dynamic now. So don't want this. So I'll move that. Allowed color names also again not really needed. These, like, I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, why should I restrict the user to only have certain color names? They should be able to add whatever color they like. So I'll delete all of that. Color card is fine. This is what we actually created yesterday. And layout constants, this is again fine. We created this yesterday. 3 column layout is fine. We created it yesterday and we'll update it today. The hooks, we can delete them. Uh, Pages, I will delete the home and not found. Actually, I'll keep the not found. I'll only delete home. Uh, I was planning to add stores, so that's there. App.css will need changing. Color utils, I don't think I'll need this. Okay, all of these are gone. Okay, I think we have deleted a lot of stuff. So we have 30 file changes right now, out of which I think maximum are about deleting stuff, which is fine. Okay, we can recreate them, and thanks to GitHub, I can go into the history and get them as needed. Right now, we added Chroma.js. No, we added Tailwind CSS slash Wheat, a library, and we updated the types of Chroma.js, and that's it. Now we need to go back to Tailwind documentation, and in that it says in your Vite config, add the following line. So import Tailwind CSS from this library and add it to your plugins. So let's do that. So that's my import and add it to your plugins. So I'll add it right after React. It would be Tailwind CSS that we imported on the top, and that's it. Uh, Format document with, let me, yep, okay, format it. So this is also done. Then the third thing it suggests is import Tailwind CSS into your CSS file slash library, and that's it. So what I am going to do is go over to our app.css, which is the main one, and I'm going to delete everything that Tailwind plugin did yesterday, because I realized none of it is needed. Okay, so that goes away. And then I finally want to only import Tailwind CSS. So let me import that. That's done. That's done. And let's start up project again. npm run dev. Okay, error. Also, it opened on wrong browser of mine. So let me open it here. Okay, so the first thing it says, in not found there was a button used, which no longer exists because we deleted the shared components. Let's go over here. Yep, this button does not exist. So where was it used? Here, I think I can change this to button, a simple HTML button. And then in not found, there was a generate random background color, which was coming from utils. I don't need that. So that can be deleted. Don't need this as well. And don't need this as well. Now the background color itself is like, I will not have a background color. Uh, what can I make this? Actually, let me just make it a constant color of hashtag FAFAFA to hashtag 101010. Okay, I think this should be fine. Use memo and use react use state are not going to be used. Okay, so we have a simpler not found page. Now if I try to go over some random URL, okay, there we go. Page not found. Sorry, we couldn't find the page you're looking for. Go back to color conjure. Perfect. So the page still works, and but it just does not look good. I can change this color to be this and this one. Let me see if I can make it a shade of blue, because who doesn't like blue? Shade of blue again. Okay, better looking, I guess. Uh, Anything else that comes to mind? Nope. The button looks weird. Margin 10 width, blah blah blah. I can make it rounded. Rounded LG. I can add a padding of 2. Okay, better looking button, definitely. Wouldn't you say? And that goes back. Cool. So, yes, this is good. Perfect. Now, what next? Should probably push all of the changes that I have done, so that you all can kind of copy it over. not even copy it over. You can sync your fork. I guess that should do the trick, if I am not wrong. Uh, Anything else? Anything else? No, no. I think this should be fine. So as you can see, our tailwind still works. Uh, the only thing would be uh, that we have kind of reduced everything that uh, the tailwind plugin had done. So yesterday, if you remember, we had run the upgrade plugin. So that added a bunch of things which we did not need. So I've removed all of that. Okay, let me just push this. Enough talking. Yep, a bunch of changes. So package JSON upgrades is one thing we did. Cleanup is another thing that we did. Components now has only one thing, and layout. Okay, cool. Mm, so this would be feature cleanup, libs, and code. Nice. And git push. Okay, so if I go over here, it should be, yep, 94 commits. And as you can see, this one is a huge one, where if you, all you need to do is copy over package JSON, and then all I technically, okay, also update the constants, update not found, update app.css, update read config, and everything else is, as 404 rightly said, nuked. So yes, we have nuked a bunch of stuff. Okay, anything else that comes to mind? Nope, I guess this is good to go. Next, moving on to the next bit. Any questions, anyone, before we move ahead? Anything? Just want to confirm that I'm not leaving you all uh, unchecked. Okay. Also, uh, I guess one other thing that I want to upgrade in our ESLint config, which is again something that I realized yesterday, was this setting. The no unused vars should be off. So what does this setting do? So if there are no unused variables, then previously we used to throw an error, and we would say that ignore if the variable has underscore before it. It is nice, but it actually conflicts with this setting that we have here. So there's this conflicting setting, and I want this TypeScript ESLint to actually uh, have the say. Okay. Why? Because in TypeScript, you can define types. And when you define types, you could also, in the type definition, say that, oh, the type of a variable might be a function. And a function type can take in props or parameters, right? So if it is taking some props, then you would of course define those props. And when you define those props, and then ESLint starts throwing errors saying that no unused vars. So here's an error. Please try and you know what's the word? Please try and fix it. But I'm like, it is type definition. There is no this variable will not be used actually. So TypeScript ESLint handles that error better as compared to no unused vars. That's why I have turned this one off, and this one will throw an error. Okay. So actually, I should have pushed this change as well before. So I am going to amend my previous commit. I'm going to say that in my previous commit, whatever I had, take that, but also add this new file. And now I have to push it, but I have to push force so that it can overwrite the git history. So it has this. Now my commit, this commit id will not exist anymore. Okay, it will say that it does not belong to any repository. Where did you get this commit id? I still have only 94 commits, which was what I had before, but this time it also has ESLint config.js as an extra. Okay, so that's gone. What else? I guess this is good enough cleanup for what I could glance over yesterday. Uh, yeah. Hmm. Anything else that comes to mind? Nope. Let's start from app.tsx now. So in our app.tsx, we have a bunch of things. We want to start by kind of creating a better looking layout. And also we should have a few more pages. Okay, so I'll also do that so that we have more placeholders. So home.tsx is what I will start with, and all this says is import home. uh Sorry, not import home, it will only export home. And the types, so yesterday I was again reading a blog slash reconfirming something, and I realized between React element, which allows everything, versus React functional component. Okay, React element versus functional component, you should go for a functional component if it is a component itself. Okay, so React element is a superscript or the most parent ever. And if you use that, it is nice, it will work for every scenario. But then we also need to add more type safety around, oh, if it is a React component, then use this. If it is a string, do this. If it's a number, do that. It's just a headache. I realize. So that is why, for the time being, we will actually import functional component from this one. Now it says that element is not assignable to type FC, so we'll have to fix that. Uh, could do React.fc, right? Okay, I'll fix this in a bit. Uh, hmm. Other things that I would need to fix is the places where are we using React element. So I realize this, all of these should basically be type FC. Okay, anyways, I'll get back to that. App.tsx itself should be changed. So this one should actually be jsx.element, and that could be imported from this one. Yep. Hmm. Okay. So a bunch of type changes as to what it needs to return or should return. So in our app.tsx, I have imported type JSX, which is coming from this one, which is coming from React, sorry. And what else? Toaster is fine. Create browser router and route provider is fine. 3-column layout is fine. Import styles is fine. Let's add more pages very quickly. So there's home. There would be about.tsx as well. There would be, what are the other pages that we will have? So home, about, save palettes, accessibility, extract colors. So save palette, PALETTES. Yes. .tsx. What else was there? Accessibility. Accessibility. .tsx. Hopefully, I'm spelling it correctly. Hmm. Okay. Yep. Accessibility. Anything else that comes to mind? Not comes to mind. I can see it. Extract colors. So extract colors. .tsx, and this could be also this. Perfect. I guess this is fine. I know I have to change a bunch of stuff there. I will come back to it. Let's first start by importing stuff. Uh, my not found is also returning a functional component. No idea where it gets these from. Anyways, uh, okay, importing some stuff. So I am going to import const home equals lazy import. So we'll use lazy, which allows us to kind of break down the files. So React has this lazy import. So understand this thing. Uh, Let me come back on screen for this so that it is easy to explain. Oh, I am on screen. Perfect. So understand React. React is a single page application, right? So uh, if it's a single page application, how are you going to have routes, right? How are you going to have uh, different pages? So that is where we would use something like a React router that would allow us to have different pages in a single page application. So why is it a single page application? As you can see, there is one index.html, which is the entry point to our application. So when your page builds, when React builds this, not React, Vite builds the page, it creates a single index file, index.js file, which has all the JavaScript code. That is nice. The only problem is if you have a lot of pages that you have created, you have a lot of components that you have created, you end up with a very, very, very huge bundle size. And now JavaScript is, or at least your web pages should not be very big. They should be like maximum, I would say 250 KB, even that's huge. But 250 KB, 300 KB, maybe less than 1 MB. It should never, ever, ever cross 1 MB. Okay. 1 MB is also huge, I know, but let's just say like, for some reason you end up there. So if you end up with a 1 MB of your HTML, CSS, JavaScript combined, what can you do? So that's where you have to think that are all the things that a user wants to see visible on the first load? Or can we break it down? Can we break it down into smaller chunks? Can we break down the files so that when user needs them, we load them? That is where the lazy import comes into picture. So lazy import allows uh, us to break down files in, like, break it down into multiple files, or lazily import certain JavaScript when the user calls for it, so that it is not overwhelming to the server. Not the server, sorry. It is not overwhelming to the UI to load everything, because then when you load 1 MB of data over a 3G connection, you're stuck there for possibly 10 seconds seeing empty blank white screen. I don't think that's a good idea. So that is why we are using lazy loading. Next would be save palettes, and oh, it understands. I don't know where it got color picker from. Const accessibility. Okay, nice one. Again, something weird. Const extract colors. Okay, correct as well. And finally, const about. So these were the pages, right? Home, saved palettes, accessibility, extract colors, and about. Okay, cool. So this is good. Uh, what next? So next one is our path, which is the route path, like the route. There is element of 3-column layout. Error element is not found, and we can have children here. Now in children, we can say index true, which basically means that this is the first page or first element, and the element that we want to show here is home page. We should also have other routes like save palettes, accessibility, extra colors, and about. I don't want to repeat the code multiple times, so what I am going to do is, now this one's, I should technically have a constants. So in my constants, in my index file, I am going to create a routes constant. So export const routes, and that is going to be an object. Sure. Wow, it understands. Okay. Yep, this is good. Extract colors. Yeah, sure. Accessibility. Yes. About. Yep. We don't need not found. And I can make this as a const. So what that would mean is that this is constant and should not be changed. Okay. So it's a type constant and it's read only variable. So you cannot make an update to this object. Uh, so now I will come back to our app.tsx and I am going to change. I'm going to add, sorry, I'm going to add another route. Now this one, I will say this is path is going to be routes dot saved palettes, and the element should be saved palettes. Yep, perfect. This is perfectly what I want. And similarly, we can have others as well. So path would be uh, routes dot accessibility, an element would be accessibility one. And now I think Copilot will take over. Oh, it didn't. Nice. But extract colors, yep, that is correct. And element would be extract colors, and path would be about, and element would be about. We are already using not found as the error element, so if none of these paths match, then automatically React router will tell it to fall back to the error element, and that should solve any problems that we might have. uh, could technically also make this efficient by just doing an export default function app, which is of type jsx.element, and it returns. mm, okay, we don't need a div class name app here. We can just do a fragment. Okay, so what is a fragment? So in HTML, you have elements, or yeah, elements, HTML elements like div, p tag for paragraph, a side, h1, h2, h3, up to h6, button, select, option, like just so many. Like these are the ones that came to my mind right now when I closed my eyes. Uh, but there could be a lot more, right? Uh, but another thing could be is, what if you don't want extra division? Okay, you want to render the component as is without any extra div around it. That is where React fragment would come in. Okay, React fragment allows you to add a element, I would say, or render the elements that are inside it, but not add anything extra around it. The fragment also allows you to add a key if you want. Sorry, I am looking at this. Only IDE is on stream, no browser screen. It should be. If I switch over to my browser, do you not see it? I hope you do, because I think I've shared the whole screen. Okay, and another one is, why did we update not found? Good one. Okay, going back. So, hmm, now we have this route provider, but since we are using lazy loading, and if the component is not loaded, what should be done? So we can use suspense to say that fallback, and yeah, we could have a div saying that, oh, something is loading, uh, and suspense close. Perfect. So what does this mean? So since we are using lazy loading, uh, a page might take a couple of seconds to load. Meanwhile, the user should be notified that something is happening. So, what would you want to show? So, this one is choosing to show, let's say, loading dot 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 on the screen. You could technically show a loader if you want. You could show a lot of things, actually, frankly. So, I would let you choose what do you want to show here. Uh, I will go with loading. And yeah, render toast notification will come here. I think this is fine. Now let's figure this one out. So why is it not happy? At this point, I think it's just trying to take a, making it a joke. If I reload my whole IDE, okay, it still did not go away. Type element is not assignable, but where do you even see element is my question. Okay, let me change everything. Really, is it coming from test? Gone. I don't know. How is it even? This is fine. This one is a JSX element. I have no idea whatsoever as to why would this do it. Assuming definitely something to do with, come on, some things that I don't about like about TypeScript when the error does not make sense to me. I don't think in any way, shape, or form that this error should exist. I'm using proper types, JSX element, that is my parent. All the other ones are functional components. I have no idea why does it think that, oh, mm, mm, okay. I guess at this point, I would conveniently ignore it. Found 12 errors. Okay. Um, okay, I can take care of these ones. All I have to do is return the type as react.fc. Okay, I think I understand. If I make this one, yep, nice. Yep. Oof. A teeny tiny mistake of where it should have been placed actually caused all of this. Uh, so what's the difference? I'm saying that the not found component, let's say in this case, is going to be of type functional component. Okay, not the prop that it would kind of return from here. So that is why it's a good idea to put it there and export default safe palettes. Perfect. Whew, that was hectic. That was really, really, really bothering. It's adding type on the wrong side of where it is expected, where versus where it is used. And now everything is fine. Nice. So now there were 12 errors. Let me run a bootstrap dev again. TypeScript is not that bad. See, I changed my opinion within 5 minutes of saying I hate TypeScript. So you have phases with TypeScript. You have good ones where you're like, oh, this works, nice. Love that it shows me all the types. And then you have the ones where you're like, why does it if and not work on the basic of things? Okay, anyways, enough faffing around. Let me start the dev server again. So nothing changed other than us messing around with some types. Uh, I could technically, instead of importing the whole of React, just to FC, which is functional component. So that ways I can be explicit, and I will also say that this is used as a type. If it is used as a type, it does not add uh, extra dependency. Okay, not everything would then be imported. I guess I'll do that as well, for the sake of ensuring that things are only, sorry, what I want to use are the only things that are imported. So when I do React dot, I am technically asking it to import React, and then from that, I am asking it to only use the functional component type. So FC would be functional component. Okay, so React functional component, but it is a good idea to not import the whole of React for using one particular type. So that is why I am going around all the files and I'm changing it to explicitly only use what it needs. Example, in case of app, I said that this is a JSX, a React JSX element. Oof. Okay, I think these are enough changes for the time being. Let's go over to our usage. So we have created multiple routes. So now if I go to slash uh, something, goes to not found, which is nice. If I go to, what's the other one? Saved palettes, then it goes to saved palettes and it shows React FC for some reason. What is my saved palettes? What did I mess up there? Ah, they should be called as saved palettes. Okay, there we go. So we are now in saved palettes. Not found is working. Home should show home, which it does actually. Extract colors should show extract colors. So what is the route for extract colors? So if I go over to my constants and check that out, adding extract colors should do the trick. There we go. So all the routes are working fine. We can navigate to different pages. The only problem is that I have to manually do it, because if I click on any of these buttons, nothing happens. So let's fix this one as well. So I am going to go over to my layout, 3 column layout, and let's fix one thing at a time, and let's fix it quickly. Ignore. So this button that we are using here, this could technically be made a link. So let's start from there. Let's start by making it a link. Mm, so the link that I want to use would be a nav link, which will be imported from React Router DOM. Yep, there we go. It's imported. Now what it needs a key. Of course, the class name is for us to style it as we want. And finally, in here we can have each button dot name. Uh, One thing that it is missing, if I hover over it, okay, it says property 2 is missing from here, but it is required. So the property 2 is the one that will make it actually, uh, what's the word? Yeah, the property 2 is the one that will add the linking. Okay, so we need to set that. But what should we set it to? Each button had a name and a route. Okay, so we could set it to our each button dot route. So that should have done the trick. So now if I go over and if I click on home, it is on the home. If I click on save palettes, goes to save palettes. Click on accessibility, goes to accessibility. Extract colors, about. Okay, so all the routes are now working. Nice. uh, Header buttons, where was this coming from? It was coming from layout constants, and I am redefining all the routes here. So, not a good idea. Let us use the routes that we have got in the constants, and this would be routes.home. So, why is it good idea? Well, because very simply, if I have everything defined in the constants, if I change the route to be called, like for the home route, if I tell it that, oh, instead of being on slash, you should be on slash home. Okay, so instead of calling it just a slash, which means the root, I want it to be on the slash home and an additional part. Then in that case, it would make it easy for me to change it at one place, and the change would be reflected across my code base. So that's the only reason why it's good idea to have everything defined in one place. uh, Yep, Copilot it is understanding. So extract colors and about. Perfect. So I think now that we have everything defined here, any other place? I think I saw one in app.tsx in path. Here I can use the routes.home as well. Yep. Okay. Another thing to note at this point is there is a mistake which I realize, which is the three column layout. So the three column layout is the parent that wraps all the children. Okay, all these children are wrapped in one parent, and that parent is the three column layout. Oh, also I can make this as constant as well. Yeah. So the three column layout is a parent to everything. But will everything always have a three? Like, will everything in this case is all the pages? The home page, I don't know. Maybe yes, it will be part of three column layout, but will all other pages also be a part of three column layout? Not sure. So maybe we'll need to change this in some time, but for the time being, I guess this is good to go. So the changes that we made, let's quickly check that out. In app.tsx, we have much more defined way of getting, like, we have a lot more pages defined. We also added some routes in the color card. Okay, we changed the type everywhere, created new files, deleted some code, not found, had some changes, and save files. Okay, cool. So I guess this would be again a cleanup. So we added routes, pages, and clean up code. Okay, that is nice. And then let's do git push. Don't need to do force because I have not amended the commit history or anything. There we go. So that's some cleanup code that we have done. Now let's go back and see. Okay, let's start from what is our three column layout. So I'll close everything, go into components, layout, and three column layout. Now this one has a lot of issues, which I realize uh, now that I have seen it properly. Let's start from the very top. So in the very top, we import a bunch of libraries, which is nice. The three column layout itself. So we have a grid and we divide it into 12 columns, no space in between. Got it. But we could also do a H screen to say that it should take up the whole of the screen. So there we go. It adds these lines. Could remove the gap 0 for the time being. So this is gone. Uh, Still has the same gap. So now the length has increased a bit, but not exactly what we want. Let's start from column 1. Now, column 1, we could use semantic HTML. So in the semantic HTML, there's a side HTML. So the A side represents a portion of document whose content is only indirectly related, and you would basically use it to put something on the side. So our column 1 is related to our home page, of course. So this column is related to anything that comes up here. This column will be related to anything that comes up here, and this central part is where our important content will come in. So we could push this to be on the A side. So instead of using div, let's go with some semantic A side. Now this one is column span 3. I told you, like, we divided into 12 columns, and we have it like we have told the first one to take up 3 spaces, so that is nice. Flex is fine. Width full, let's remove it for the time being. I realized that everything would technically be widthful, so don't need it. Flex call is fine. What else? Items center, yes. Justify around is not needed for the time being. Um, yeah, okay. Then we can have an overflow dash y dash auto, that on the y axis, if there is an overflow, automatically add that overflow. Border on the right hand side is fine. Slate 300 is fine, and we have added padding on the y axis of 4, so this is okay, cool. Then we have div, which was to break things into, I guess, two of the rows, but we could do it in a better way. So our h1 has a class name of text small, which is nice, which is fine. I think the cc is also okay. Px2 py1 background purple, border right 0. Oh, we could actually do one thing. So we have added border top, bottom, and left. What this means is that there is border on 3 sides. There is no border on the right hand side. So we could make it border R as 0, so that there is no border on the right, but everywhere else there is a border. So that is a shorthand way of writing it. So this is one span done. The second span is rounded R right SM, border on all sides, and this is fine, this is fine, and text SM is not needed here. I think it should automatically pick it up. Similarly, I don't think text SM will be needed here as well. It should pick it from the H1. So if I go over, yep, that is okay. Border right 0, border slate. I think oh, border right 0, but also I need border. Yeah, there we go. So border on all sides, but on the right hand side, no border. So border right 0. So instead of defining 3 sides, we defined border on all sides, but get rid of border on the right hand side. So that should solve that issue. Okay, so that's our H1, and then we could, instead of doing all of this, we could do grid, and grid dash calls dash 1, so that there is one column only, and that's it. Okay, I should also add some spacing. So gap dash 4 to do the trick. Okay, cool. Our color card will also need some CSS changes. So we'll get to it in a bit. But for now, so this one is our column 1. Done. That is one A side. Column 2 is our main column, right? So our column 2 is the one that will have all the main content. So we can again use semantic element and use main here. So main column 6, uh, PG white, I think that would be default. So we can get rid of this one. We can say it is using flexbox and it is a flex call for the time being. Then instead of using header, I think the better would be nav, because this is navigation, right? So navigating around the page is what this would do. You could read about the header versus nav here. I mistakenly used header yesterday, but ideal would be elements whose purpose is to provide navigation links. And the header element is for this one, like what is my main hero kind of. Okay, it could technically provide navigational aids as it says, so I was not exactly wrong, but nav is a better suited element, because also we are using nav link here. Right? So nav would definitely be better suited. So it is sticky top 0, z index 10, so it is up, flex, width full not needed, could get rid of it. Items center, is it? Nope, we are adding justify around, so this is what it should be. And yep, I think this is good. Now also we could do one more thing here. Okay, now this is interesting, just hear me out. uh, we could add a way to ensure that something is active or not. If it is an active page, then we can make it uh, a different color. We can color the navigation box. So this could be a separate color, a different color. Okay. So how am I going to do that? Step one, I am going to actually destructure name and route. Okay. So instead of having each button, we can destructure name and route. And here I can just directly use the name and route. I'll write the key first so that it's easy. So name, route, and in the class name. Now right here, if I get rid of all of that, I'm going to say, wow, is it really hearing me out? So now in here, I will say is active is a prop that we use. And in this one, we can use CLSX. I think that is in our library, in our package JSON. We have CLSX. So what does CLSX allow? It allows for us to construct class name strings conditionally. Okay, so we will use that. I am going to just import CLSX here, and inside CLSX I will say that by default it should be rounded dash sm. There should be some border, border color. Okay, I think this is good enough. So rounded sm, that is what we had. There would be a border, border slate 900, which is what we have defined on the top. Px2 again defined, py1 again defined, text small, and we can also do a transition dash colors. Okay, so this one allows us to transition between two colors. There would be a slight delay and a user would see it nicely. Yes. And then the next bit is we'll call is active, and we will say if it is active, then in that case, so what is this suggesting? So it is suggesting that if it is an active page, then BG slate 900 should be the background set and the text color should be white. Else, the text color should be slate 900, and on hover, it should set the background color to be slate 900. I would go for 700, and on hover, the text should be white. Okay. Hmm, cool. And now this should not be this one. There we go. This, and if I hover over these, the colors, if I go over to save palettes, it actually extracts what is the active page and sets that. We didn't have to do much, right? So now a user can easily see what is the active page. Okay, and this is all thanks to navlink, which has the uh, is active code. So this is how I got it. I think this is also how ChatGPT got it, which is in navlink you could destructure out these elements. There's also is pending. I wonder what does that do. Indicates if the pending location matches the link's URL. There was one more thing which I just saw, is transitioning, which is indicate if a view transition to the link's URL is in progress. So that two more could use it. Uh, okay, so this is our nav link and nav done. And after this, after the nav, we would want to render a section. Not this much. I will just do a flex dash one overflow. Y axis would be auto and padding 4, sure, and section. And inside this section, we would use the outlet, which is coming from React Router DOM to have multi pages. Okay, so home is now here. So why do I see it here? I'll need to fix that. Let's do that. Uh, okay, cool. I guess this should be nice. And the thing that I guess we could do technically would be in the third column. Yes, we can also make this a side, by the way. So a side, and it should have exactly the same class name as before. So let me copy that over and then we can review it. So call span 3, overflow y auto. Uh, flex and flex call would not be needed actually. So don't even need items center at this point. Overflow y auto, border is on the left. Okay, instead of right, it should be on the left of this one. Uh, this is fine. This, and we can just add a text dash center. Okay. And in here we can have a h1, which is rounded sm, this UI components, a side, and we don't need this outlet anymore. Okay, now this one takes the full width, so that is bad. So what I could do, the h1 we could make it inline dash block rounded dash sm. It should have a border. The border should be of slate 900, px dash 2, py dash 1. So padding on the x-axis of 2, which squishes the content inside of 2. Padding on y-axis is 1, so which squishes the content inside on the y-axis as 1. And text could be small. Yes, this should do the trick. Yep, there we go. Nice. So UI components, we have full page line here already because we did H screen on the top and we have the border for the full page. And we actually have now is active coming over. The home accessibility and everything is defined right here, which is nice. And which, this is where our main content would come in, kind of. Uh, Actually, after some time, when we switch over to save palettes, I don't want a three column layout. This whole layout will change, which we will uh, just try. Not what am I trying to say? Uh, yeah, the three column layout will not be used for, let's say, saved palettes. So we will fix that and use a new layout. Create a new layout called as single page layout. So one column layout or single page layout. We can create something like that. Mm, Anything else? I think this is fine. Uh, Below this H1, we can add a placeholder saying that components will be here. Add a class name quickly. It is small text and could be text dash slate dash 600. Yep, there you go. And we can give it a margin y as 10. Yep. So this is where the components will come in. Okay, let's any questions, anyone? Let me see if anyone does have any questions. Side by side. Yes, that is true. I'm assuming that was with respect to the A side. And okay, no questions. Perfect. That is nice. Let's move on. Let me push all of this. So we made changes only in the three column layout. Uh, we added CLSX. We to have to combine the styles and conditionally rendered some styles. We also added this head screen to ensure that it is for the full screen, and we got rid of a bunch of classes to make it clean. Perfect. Git add, git commit. What did we do? Cleaned up, cleaned up three column layout. I'm currently doing some really small commits. Uh, my habit is ideally to make like, I don't know, a minimum of 100 changes commit, because as two small commits, then it, if you're working in, like, let's say a feature branch in a company, you're working on a feature branch, and if you commit every smallest of change, then you have a lot of commit. And then if you get into merge conflict, what is a merge conflict? Let's talk about it. So you could get into a merge conflict where someone else is also working on something, you are also working on something, and you both tried to change the same file, and there is a merge conflict. Okay, Git is unable to decide whose changes should I keep. So in that case, then you have to resolve it. And if you have too many small commits, then you have to resolve in every commit, and that is painful. Okay, as in like when their change was done, when your change was done, between that, if you have a lot of commits, so then you would have to squash all your commits, have a single commit, and resolve it against that. uh, Painful. So yes, I preferred not to have very small commits, but for the time being, I think it is fine, since we all are learning in this case. Okay, so we have added a bunch of things. Let's go over to the color card. So color card is the card that we are rendering here, and it does not look good, and it is not complete as well. Okay, so we need to, of course, make it, complete it, and also improve it. Okay, so now for this color card, let's start from Ah, this is going to be huge. Uh, Actually, let's not import stuff first. Let's start writing stuff first, and then we can import it. So I will start with directly JSX for the time being, where we make changes to the JSX, and then based on that, when we start doing state management, we'll also upgrade a few variables here and there. So flex, don't need with full, could do flex dash column, uh, cap of 1 or 2 maybe. Uh, it is rounded dash sm, background white, padding of 2 around. Okay, I think this is fine. Then we need the first row. Also, I don't want a select option. I want user to be able to type. Actually, I think what would be easier is deleting all of this. Um, okay, so let's start with a div. Now, in my next div, what I want is a class name of grid, and grid dash calls dash mm, 1. Okay, items dash start and gap dash 1. Inside this, I want another div which is going to have a class name of flex and flex column, so that it is a one column thing, and input. Okay, so I want the user to be able to type what they want in this one, in this input. I'm going to say that this one is going to have a h10, minimum width of 1, so minimum it should be 4 pixel, rounded dash sm. Then we can have a border around it, a border, and then border dash slate dash 900. Oh, there's a question here. Can I drop the GitHub link? Yes, I will. There we go. That's the GitHub link. Okay, coming back. So border slate 900, padding on X is 2, padding on Y is 1. The text size itself could be small or excess. Okay, so smaller than small, so tiny. Uh, Whenever you focus on it, okay, then in that case, I want border to be blue, let's say, of 500, and focus, focus, we can have a ring of 1. So this is like a border. And on focus, again, yeah, we can have the same color. Focus, outline, none. Okay, so this will add so on focus, we are adding a border and there is outline. Uh, a homework for you could be the difference, find the difference. So the placeholder, yep, color name, yes, that is true. We can also do example, let's say instead of, no, not red, primary. Okay, and we can be good citizens uh, of accessibility, because well, this website needs to be accessible, so we can be good citizens of accessibility and add a aria label, and that's it. So now if I go over to our color conjure, yep, there we go. So that is where our this one will come in. Okay, I think this is good, but there is one. Okay, let's see. So that's my input box for the time being. What next? Right here, I think we can have another div. Uh, Inside this div is where we can show the color preview. So I can go h10 width dash 10. It should be rounded dash sm. Should have a border, and the border could be slate dash 900. Okay. And this is the aria label would be aria dash label. This is where the color preview would be shown. So that's the box. Okay. To set a color, we will need to use the style property. Uh, yeah, something like this. So this is what it would look like. Okay. Actually, this should not be one. This should be grid calls. I don't want one column. I want four. So I think it should be fr underscore auto underscore auto underscore auto. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Hmm. So what I've done is now if I hover over it, what does this say? It says that what I'm using is the first one will have certain width, and then we'll have four columns actually. The rest three would have auto width. Okay. So there is this done. We need two buttons as per our design, a dropper, eyedropper, and a save button. So let's create a button. Yep, button. Finally, uh, we'll have to create multiple of these. So I guess what would be an ideal situation is if we create a constant on the top which has everything defined. So const icon dash button. Okay, so we are defining the class name on the top so that we can reuse it. So it would be grid, and would have a height of 10. It would have a width of 10. It would be it would make place content center. Yeah, the icon inside should be placed center. Rounded would be sm, which follows all the styling of other buttons. There should be a border would be slate 900. Yes, border dash slate dash 900. On hover we can do what we did with our uh, buttons of these ones. So slate 700. Okay, so hover slate 700. What else? And hover the if there is a text inside it, it would be white. Let's change that to white color, and we can do transition colors. Perfect. So I think this should be fine. Now I can use this icon button in my button, saying that the class name of this is actually the same as the icon button. Okay, so that ensures that we have uh, same style across, and we can give it a title saying this is a pick color. Now for the icon, I definitely have React icons installed. So React icons, it has a bunch of icons that I could use. For this one, I can have a droplet or eyedropper. Uh, could use one of these to denote that it is a color dropper, or there's also a eyedropper. Yep, I think I like this one. Which one would be best? Let's see. Any suggestions? I think this is too thick. This does not look good on a smaller screen. I guess this one is better. So the BS eyedropper. So to use it, we have to import this thing from here and then use it. So let's go over to a color card and use BS eyedropper. And inside the button, I want to use BS eyedropper, and we can give it a size as well. So I'll say the size is 12, which is a small size because the default size, pretty sure, is 24 or 28, something like that. Okay, so let's go and check it out. There we go. An eyedropper, which is at the center. On hover, the inside of it. So the text white actually also applies to the icon here. And if I hover over it, you see that it says pick color. So that is the title, which is nice. And yeah, there's transition styling. Looks good, I guess. Uh, 20. If I make that 20, yes, this is much better. Yep. So 12 is too small. Let's go with 20. But then what happens on a small screen? Let me check it out on a smaller screen. So I have a big screen. It's fine. Looks good. Anyways, then what's next in our design? We have a save button. Hmm. Okay, let's search for save. I guess I like this IO5 one. What about floppy? Oh, they also have floppy. I think this is also good. So I'll use the BS floppy. EFBS floppy, and I want to copy paste this one. So the class name would be same, and this would be save color. Yep, perfect. And this would be BS floppy. Yep, this looks good. Yes, I like it. Uh, yeah, yes, so true. Should continue that. Like if I can. Definitely sometimes I find one icon much better than the other. So then I just switch over. But yeah, most of the times I like let me come back. So yeah, most of the times I kind of switch around if they're following a certain theme. Example, right now our theme is not filled icon, it is thin lined icons. So if we find something which is not in the one of the icons, we could, yeah, just use something else. Okay, let me go off screen and you can focus again. Hmm. The next line. So the next line, this is where the user will input text. Then there would be plus icon, there would be trash icon, and another input box. Okay, let us copy this over. So yes, if I copy this whole thing, paste it again, I should have, yep, two of them. Cool. Things I need to change. This one would be text, and this is not the color name. This is more of a hex value. Okay. So hex value and not example primary. It would be hashtag. Yep, this one I can copy this. Okay. This is the preview, but we don't need that. So we can get rid of it. What does our design say? Our design said it needed a add here. So let me copy this icon, paste it here. Sorry, this button, paste it here. Uh, add, add. Da, 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 da. Is there one in BS? If I can follow the theme. Uh, okay, what about plus? Okay, there is one. I could use this one. So BS plus EFP, BS plus, and that would be used in place of eyedropper, right? So that's our plus icon done. Then why is it so small? Wow, this one needs some special treatment, it looks like. Okay. What's the next one? Then we need trash icon. Trash. BS trash. They have a lot. So do we want pro horizontal or slightly tilted in? I guess this looks better. BS trash 3. Okie doke. And what else? Another input box is what we need. So I am going to copy this input box, and instead of a button, I will paste that here. And let's see, what does this look like when I directly paste it? Okay, there is one problem here, which is I want this box to be small, and it is not right now. So we'll need to fix that. I can say that the width should actually be 10 as well. And there we go. Fixed it. Right. So for this input box, the placeholder, I think this is too big. Uh, 10, and the aria label would be what should be number of shades. Yep. Oh, perfect. Good one. And what else could be done? I can make a text dash center. Yep, this is much better. So the whatever you type is centered. And the color of the text. So text dash slate dash 900. Okay, so that it is dark colored. And there's a difference between the sizes here. So can I do something about it? I guess so. Okay, not font. I think I need text to Excel. Ah, not text access to Excel. Okay, to Excel is too big. LG. Uh, What are the other sizes of text? Base. I guess I could go with base. Okay, I guess this is good. Much better. Okay. Next one would be all these smaller buttons. Nice. Uh, copy paste this one, and I don't have this, so this goes away. Input, which I repeat a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there is slightly a slight problem here, which is the way it is currently. Uh, what's the word? The grid does not really work out well in this case. So we will need to come out of this grid. No, actually, we can improve this grid. Yep. So we can say grid, and it should be a grid dash calls dash 4 and 3, 7, and I can make a gap of only one around it, and there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. So this one is good, and I can copy this and paste it right below for another 7 grids. All of them say 10 for the time being, which we'll need to, yeah, we'll need to fix that. And also the labels. Okay, we need labels around these things, or not even around, but at least something to denote what these variables mean. Currently, we are also not utilizing the power of JavaScript, which is we could technically loop over some stuff so that we don't have to uh, copy paste a bunch of things. So let's utilize the power of JavaScript and, yeah, make this better. So the first div and the second div, we can leave them as is, but this next one and this next one, yep, these two, these grid call 7 ones, I guess we can improve that. So let's do that. I'm going to say that let's create an array here, and we will say there would be R, G, B, A. So these are 4 things, and I'm going to say that as const so that these are read only, they cannot be updated. And then like we can map over it, and we can have a variable called as, yeah, color, sure, color, yeah, color, okay. And this is an arrow function, and inside this arrow function we can have a span tag where the key would actually be the color, and flex call, and items dash center is something that we could add, so to ensure that things are centered. Let's close this span tag. Now inside this span tag I can use this input, right? So now this input is also going to be repeated a bunch of times, so I'm going to cut this from here, and we can have another const variable here. We can call it box. Okay, why? Because all of them look like a box. And in a string I can add this, where we have height and width 10. uh, Text should always be center, so text center, uh, rounded sm. Oh, text center is repeated twice. Okay, rounded sm. It should have a border slate, padding on x-axis as, let's say, only 1, and padding on y-axis to be 0.5, so that it is small padding. We can have a text size defined for all of these. So text base, instead of that I can go for a pixel value of text dash 11 pixel. Text color is defined, and focus is defined, and I guess this is fine. Yeah, so we can take this box, and where was that input? Yep, right here I can add this box. The placeholder will again change depending on where you are, right? Mm, Yeah, like if this is R, then I can do color dot to uppercase. Okay. Yep. So placeholder would be like, let's say R or G or B. The ARIA label, we can again make it a bit more. Okay, this is nice. So we are saying color, which is R value or G value or B value. That is what it would read like. And we can add a label. Okay, let's see what does this say. Class name text XS, text slate, also text center. We want text dash center, color dot to uppercase, label close. Let's go over. Yep, there we go. So RGBA. So we are using JavaScript now to actually ensure that things are properly like center aligned. And yep, this looks much, much, much better. And instead of slate, I can go slate 900. I think would be much better visible, I guess. Okay, so we have utilized the power of JavaScript here. We can do similar for the other ones, right? Wow, we got rid of so much redundant code. Okay. Oh, this one understood the assignment, it feels like. Uh, but we don't need CMYK here. That is wrong. HSL would be in this one. Then we go to the next, delete all of this, and CMYK should be in the next one. Okay. And it also, what is AB? Weird. Okay. But this is what we end up with. So I guess this is good looking. It follows the pattern, like it follows the design that we have. It has all the details. Still need to add some padding on the top of this one. Okay, some margin. Uh, I don't like that this has so much space here. Who is adding that space? So this is fine. Okay, we'll need to maybe fix it later. For the time being, I think this is the time is nearly done. Yep. So they're like last 5 minutes to end this session. For now, let me just push everything that we have done. So what did we do? We actually went over to our card and yeah, we added a bunch of things. We utilized the power of JavaScript to map over our array of different colors, and we could reuse this color variable. Why we could? Because very simply in JavaScript, when you define a variable, it is scoped. Okay, there is this term that you might come across, which is scoping of the variable. So this color variable is scoped to this map. Okay, so it is only used in this. So this color variable will not conflict with this particular color variable. Okay, because the scoping of it prevents it from leaking out of where it is defined. So if you know different types of JavaScript variable declarations, there is you could use var or let or const. So var is mostly you would always be in the global scope. It hoists to the top of your file, so you can define it anywhere. It will always be uh, pushed, okay, hoisted to the top of the file. So that is how if you use a variable declared with var, then you are inviting trouble. If you use let and const, these are more block scope variables where they are only used in the box or the block they are defined in. Okay. So that is what we have learned from this one. And pick color, and this is delete color, not a pick color. We found a bug and we fixed it. Nice. Number of shades. Let's see, actually. So this is color preview. Did we not give it a title? I guess not. Can we give it a title? Can we give a div a title? Yep, we can. Okay, pick color, save color. Oh, this should be add color. So where is our plus icon? This should be add color. Add color, delete color, and then there is the number of shades here. And yep, I guess this is done. Perfect. And also, if you notice, if I reload the page, it says loading here. So that means our suspense is working. You could find CSS loaders. I think I showed this in one of a previous GHW session, that you can get some more better loading screen spinners and CSS from here. So that would look pretty cool, I guess. Much better than what I have. Okay, cool. Let me push this. So git add all, git commit. What did we do? The feature is color card updated. Okay, there is one problem in my commit message, which is it should not be something. Subject must not be sentence case, start case, partial case, uppercase. Okay, cool. So I'll change this to all lowercase. So this is why I use commit line to ensure that everything follows a proper uh, style guide and git push. Perfect. 97 comments. Wow. And color card updated. And these are the updates that we did. And there we go. So now I think this is the perfect time to stop this session. Any questions, anyone? Let me come back on screen. So the code is here, and if you have any questions, let me know. Also, in the last two sessions, I forgot about this. So let me request you all right now to please provide feedback. So GHW, so you can provide feedback on the streams that I have done. This time I forgot to ask for feedback, like in my first and second stream. They were back to back. Then I had a fire alarm issue, and then I just lost track of things. But now I've shared the feedback link. If you visit the feedback link, you can, it would take quick 5 minutes. And this one was part 3 of color palette generator. So you can provide some feedback about how I did for this session. You can also provide feedback for the part 1 and part 2 sessions. So you could, if you have watched that, if you were present, I would request if you could please provide feedback for part 1 and part 2 sessions. I'm assuming that it would not be good feedback, but regardless, just let me know what you thought about it. Also, if I want to make one thing clear, this project is not going to be complete as such in these sessions. Why? Because this is an open source project where I'm going to expect a lot more contribution. So what I'm doing right now is how I want to structure this project, how I want to build this, uh, how I would prefer to state manage and stuff. But it is not something like in 6 hours I'll complete everything. Okay, 6 hours. No, 12 hours. Yeah, in 12 hours or 6 sessions, I'll complete everything. Nope, that is not going to happen. We'll take it slow. We'll add stuff, remove stuff, but we'll get to some point where you will understand the whole structure so you could build upon that. So it's possible that we have home done, about done, Save palettes possibly started, but these two would be still pending. And that's fine. Okay. I would expect you all to raise pull requests to finish that so that you can contribute to an open source project. And I'm planning to put this project in Hacktoberfest again this year so that you can contribute to more features. I'll have to think of more features that could be added. But yeah, regardless, you can contribute. Okay, so yeah, please provide feedback. I have another session right after this one. Technically, the time for the next session has started, but we'll join back in 10 minutes. I will start the stream so you can close your Twitch, log in again in 2 minutes. I will start the stream, but I will not be online till like for next 10 minutes or next 15 minutes. Okay. So even you can take a quick break, walk around, have some water, eat something, and then come back and work with me. Fire alarm. I don't know. Someone's fire alarm went off, and it's all connected, so mine went off. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I will see you back in 10 minutes. Do join the stream again. Twitch does not auto refresh, so in Twitch you have to close it and restart it, and on YouTube it should be fine. I have part 4 scheduled. Okay, so join the part 4. I will see you there. Cheers. Bye bye.